Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be participating in Poetspice's Stash Dive, and if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Alrighty, so every month for the year 2022, I will be participating, hopefully, if I can get it together, in Poetspice's monthly stash dive, where the third Friday of every month, we do a project here with you guys, and I'll link all of the channels that are participating below, of something that we've had in our stash for more than 6 months. Now, I do have a coloring book here, but it is actually a proper craft. When I started my coloring book journey, I rediscovered it back in January 2021. This is one of the very first books that I had purchased from Amazon because I didn't know my style. I've since realized it's a beautiful book. I'm just never going to color it. And so we're actually going to craft with this. And I'm actually going to see if every month I can use some part of this book to do some crafting project with you guys. All right. Now, just to be aware of the time, I did do a little bit of prep. So I had cut out a piece of coloring page from here, and I've already cut this piece down. I've also cut some other pieces down. And so this is just some offcuts. Again, you're probably going to see this in the future, and what I want to do with you guys today is make one of these booklets. Now, I find this actually the perfect carry on the go size, and at the end of the video I'll show you what I use this for, but this actually just slips in here, which is my Moterm everyday carry, but in the wallet that I used to use, this also fit in there as well. So I think it's just a perfect little size. And also at the end of the video, when I talk about what I use this for, I'll also give you some suggestions on what you might be able to use it for. So it's actually a very easy construction. The cover is a 6x6 square. If you're using a 12x12 paper pad, then you're going to be able to get 4 covers from that. And then the paper is just shy on all sides. So this is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Now this, I just took some paper from this little sketchbook I had. Let me show you. I'm sorry if there's a glare. I had bought these from Target a couple of years ago now, and I have these with the colorful covers, and I have just a black set. It's just plain paper, very thin paper, but for the purposes that I'm going to be using this for, it works perfectly. Copier paper would work just as well. It's just this was easier for me to access since I don't have copier paper in my room. And the construction could not be easier. I'm going to take 3 or 4 sheets. I think, yeah, I've got 4 here of the size that I cut down. So I'm just going to fold those in half. Not going to be too precious about this. This is for my own personal use. If I were to give this away as a gift or as a potential craft item to sell, then I would be a little bit more mindful of it. But if it's just for myself, I don't need it to be perfect. I'm going to stack them within each other. Just comparing it, it actually has a bit of a gray cast to it, comparing it to that. Again, for the purposes I'm going to use this for, that is not a problem, and actually makes it look, I don't want to say a little fancier, but it does look interesting. Now, because they're stacked within each other, you're always going to have that little bit of a beveled edge, but I don't mind that. So I'm just going to leave that as is. I am going to fold this in half, and the way that I did cut it down was so that I would get that image there. Now again, you can use scrapbook paper, you can use any paper. It should have a little bit of thickness. You could do a cover with this as well, but the wear and tear will be much more obvious than something like this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. because I did cut it smaller, you can see that there's just a small little edge, tops and sides and bottom, and that's all I want, just so that when it's folded like this, you can't see the paper on the inside. Okay, and because this isn't meant to be archived or historical or something that I'm going to keep for a long period of time, I'm just going to use a stapler. And because the depth isn't that wide, I can actually use a regular stapler. I don't have to pull out my long line one. Now, if you are going to do something like this and then put it into a traveler's notebook system where you're using elastics, I would actually recommend that you staple like this, where the tines are on the outside. And then that way, those things don't rub against the elastic. If you are not going to put this where it's going to rub against elastic, then you may just want to staple from the outside like you normally see. It doesn't matter by way of a construction, but again, if you do have it against elastics, this could eventually either get caught in it or begin to fray your elastic. So just be mindful of what you're going to be using this for. And this essentially is the construction of the little booklet. Again, it's not super heavyweight cardstock. The one that I have here, it actually is a thicker cardstock, but for what I'm going to use it for, it doesn't need to be. And then because I do like a rounded corner, I'm going to use my corner chomper and just do it like this. I'm not going to worry about the pages on the inside because they're all contained with it. So again, you can't see any pages coming out from the tops, the sides, or the bottom. For these, I have some ideas on what I'm going to use this for, so I'll put this to the side, and then we're going to add a little bit of an embellishment. I found this box sticker, but I don't want it to be that long because I don't want it to cover up that much, so I'm just going to sort of cut around it. Don't need to be perfect. I want it to be a smaller size because this is a coloring page, so if I wanted to, I could also still color this. So I'm going to line this up to the side there. And that essentially is done. Now, what I use mine for is I do keep it in my Moterm cover. And when I'm editing videos, either during my lunch break, before work, or here when I'm at home, I have this out with me, and any notes that I need to put into the description box of all of my videos, I will actually write down here. And then once it's done, I toss it. That's why I don't need to use archival materials. That's why it doesn't matter on the construction for me, because this is not going to last for very long. Basically, one of these little notebooks lasts me for 1 to 2 months. Now, what I initially made these for, because I actually did make this in a video, I think like a year or so ago, was during one of my last Black Friday sales for my Etsy shop when I still had it open. I had included this, a pen, and some sticker sheets as the sort of gift with purchase for anyone who ordered for that particular weekend. I think this would make a great little favor for like a Valentine's gift, Easter gift, if you want to do Galentine's, if you want to do an office gift. This with a pen and some stickers or just something cute and a gift card would make a nice gift for a coworker or for a church member. But because it's so small and portable and you don't need a ton of pages, this one actually looks like it has a little bit more. But even with this, that does give me quite a bit of surface area to write notes on. Again, because I'm just using up my stuff, even if I color this just, you know, some stars here and there, I'm not going to feel compelled that I need to keep this, and then I can just toss it when it's done. But I am using my product and I'm getting some value out of it in a different way than maybe I had initially intended. All right, guys, well, that's my stash dive project for the month of January. I'd love to know what you think below. And as always, aloha.